Hello guys, I'm Tom, and today we will explore what the SCP Foundation is. One of the most complex, mysterious, and terrifying entities that has operated from the shadows is the SCP Foundation. Hidden from the public's knowledge, its existence is a secret that transcends governments, organizations, and any notion of security that humanity believes it has. Its purpose is clear: to contain, study, and, if necessary, eliminate anomalies that defy the laws of reality. That is why in this video, I will explain in detail the history and origins of the SCP Foundation, and for that, I will give you a summary of its history, the roles it plays in the world, and the various objectives of this organization. The SCP Foundation was born as a collective creation on internet forums, mainly on 4chan, in 2007. At that time, a user published a report about a strange object known as SCP-173. This first report marked the beginning of a series of stories about anomalies and objects of an inexplicable nature, mostly inspired by terror and cosmic horror. SCP-173 is described as a grotesque statue that moves quickly when not being observed, making it one of the first SCPs to bring the narrative of concealment and containment to life. The first article became so popular that it inspired other users to create their own entries, and from there, the community grew rapidly. Over time, this idea of a secret organization dedicated to studying and containing paranormal phenomena and anomalous objects took on a life of its own and developed into what we know today as the SCP Foundation. The SCP Foundation is a global and secret organization whose main purpose is to identify, study, and contain anomalies that defy the natural laws, known as SCPs. These SCPs include objects, entities, phenomena, and locations that cannot be explained by conventional science and pose a risk to human security. The Foundation operates without the public's knowledge of its existence, so all of the organization's work is carried out in absolute secrecy, keeping its mission hidden under the veil of mystery. Throughout its history, the Foundation has expanded its reach and coverage, with branches around the world, each specializing in the containment and protection against specific types of anomalies. The Foundation is divided into several branches, each in charge of different aspects, such as research, containment, data management, and cooperation with other secret agencies. The central purpose of the SCP Foundation is to ensure the safety of humanity by containing and studying these threats, which are often extremely dangerous or out of the ordinary. The SCP Foundation has a highly hierarchical organizational structure, designed to maintain order, confidentiality, and efficiency within the institution. Each member has specific roles and responsibilities, and absolute control of information is key to preventing the Foundation's secrets from falling into the wrong hands. The hierarchy is strict, and the security of the SCPs and humanity depends on each member fulfilling their role to perfection. At the top of the hierarchy is the O5 Council, a select group of 13 members known for their complete anonymity. Their existence and identity are extremely secret, even within the Foundation itself. The members of the O5 Council are responsible for making strategic decisions that affect the Foundation and humanity as a whole. They have absolute authority over all other levels of the organization, including the management of the most dangerous SCPs and the use of military and scientific resources. Just below the O5 Council are the department directors, who are responsible for overseeing specific areas within the Foundation. These directors hold a great deal of authority, but they are always subject to the decisions of the O5 Council. Some of the key departments they oversee include the Containment Department, which is responsible for the creation, implementation, and supervision of containment procedures for the SCPs. They are tasked with ensuring that the SCPs are kept in controlled conditions and cannot escape or interact with human society in a harmful manner. Next, we have the Research and Development Department, where scientists and technology experts in this department study the SCPs to understand their properties and search for ways to neutralize them if necessary. They may also attempt to replicate the SCPs or use their knowledge for the benefit of the Foundation. Lastly, we have the Security and Defense Department, which is responsible for maintaining the physical security of the Foundation's facilities. This department is made up of specialized military and security personnel who must be ready to act in the event of an SCP breach, an infiltration, or any other incident that puts the safety of employees or humanity at risk. One of the darkest aspects of the SCP Foundation is the use of Class D personnel, individuals who have been sentenced for serious crimes and are used as test subjects for experiments with SCPs. The purpose of this personnel is to carry out dangerous experiments without risking the lives of more valuable members of the Foundation. People in this category rarely survive their tasks, as they are often exposed to lethal SCPs. Class D personnel have a grim existence and are commonly known as guinea pigs. They are subject to a life of forced labor, and if they survive the experiments, they may be offered a chance at redemption, though this is extremely rare. Their existence is seen as expendable within the Foundation, and they are used in the riskiest containment tests. Security and operations personnel is an intermediate level within the Foundation's hierarchy. This group consists of highly trained security staff, including both military members and agents specialized in handling SCPs. Security operatives are responsible for maintaining security within the Foundation's facilities, patrolling dangerous areas, and participating in direct interventions if an SCP escapes or poses a threat. On many occasions, security personnel are on the front lines, facing SCPs of the Euclid or Keter class directly. This personnel is essential for the effective containment of anomalous objects, and their skills are crucial when the situation becomes complicated. Researchers and scientists within the SCP Foundation are experts in a wide variety of disciplines, including biology, physics, engineering, psychology, and parapsychology. Their main task is to study the SCPs, discover their origins, and analyze their properties. Often, scientists face extremely dangerous situations, as many SCPs have incomprehensible or lethal abilities. In addition to conducting research on the SCPs, the Foundation scientists also work on the development of new technologies to help contain anomalous threats. Their work is vital for the Foundation to advance its mission of keeping humanity safe. At the base of the hierarchy are the Level 1 to Level 3 employees, who work in various support functions within the Foundation. These levels include administrative staff, maintenance operatives, lab technicians, and other essential workers who, while not having direct contact with the SCPs, are crucial for the daily functioning of the Foundation. Level 1 is the basic support staff, responsible for routine and administrative tasks. Level 2 has more training and is involved in conducting experiments or maintaining the facilities. Level 3 includes those who have demonstrated greater skill or knowledge and may be assigned to more delicate projects. One of the most important characteristics of the SCP Foundation is the emphasis on absolute secrecy. From the lowest to the highest levels, all members of the Foundation must operate under strict confidentiality agreements. Leaking information, whether about the existence of SCPs or containment methods, is severely punished. This culture of secrecy is essential for humanity's survival, as any leak could give anomalous entities the opportunity to escape or be used against the Foundation. The SCP Foundation has a classification system designed to determine the containment difficulty and threat level of each anomaly. This classification does not necessarily reflect how dangerous an SCP is in terms of physical damage, but rather how difficult it is to prevent it from causing uncontrollable incidents. Over time, the classification system has evolved, and additional categories have been added to more accurately describe the threats and nature of the SCPs. In this video, we will explore in detail each of these classifications, their characteristics, and some representative examples of SCPs. The three main categories of SCPs are Safe, Euclid, and Keter. These designations focus on the difficulty of containing each object, entity, or phenomenon. SCPs of the Safe class are those that can be reliably contained without risk of breaches, as long as the established procedures are followed. Although the term safe might give the impression that they're not dangerous, this is not always true. An SCP in this category can be extremely lethal, but if its containment is simple and predictable, it remains classified as safe. An example of this would be SCP-500 or Panacea. SCP-500 is a bottle containing a limited number of red pills. Ingesting one of these pills cures any disease or medical condition, even those considered incurable. Because it does not move on its own, and its use is predictable, it is classified as safe. SCPs of the Euclid class are those whose behavior is not fully understood or predictable, making them more difficult to contain than those of the safe class. These SCPs may require stricter containment measures, constant surveillance, and specific protocols to avoid security breaches. An example of this would be SCP-096, or the Shy Guy. SCP-096 is an extremely thin humanoid creature that reacts violently if someone sees its face, whether directly in a photograph or in a video. If this happens, SCP-096 will enter a state of distress and run at high speed towards the person who saw it, no matter the distance, to kill them. Its containment is complicated because any accidental image of its face can trigger a crisis, which is why it is classified as Euclid. SCPs of the Keter class are those that are extremely difficult to contain due to their unpredictable nature, resistance to containment methods, and/or global impact. These SCPs often represent a significant threat to humanity and require extreme surveillance and sophisticated containment measures. Some may even cause extinction-level events if not handled properly. An example of this would be SCP-682, or the hard-to-destroy reptile. SCP-682 is a highly intelligent, extremely hostile creature that is virtually impossible to destroy. It has demonstrated the ability to adapt to any extermination method the Foundation has attempted. Due to its hatred of all forms of life and its extreme resilience, it is classified as Keter and is under constant surveillance in a highly reinforced cell. In addition to the three main classifications, there are additional categories, such as Thaumiel, Apollyon, Archon, and Neutralized, which serve to describe SCPs with unique characteristics. SCPs of the Thaumiel class are not just anomalies to be contained. They're used by the Foundation as tools to contain other SCPs or for other strategic purposes. These SCPs are often secret and known only to the O5 Council and high-level staff. An example of this would be SCP-2000, or Deus Ex Machina. SCP-2000 is a secret underground facility that, in the event of a mass extinction, is capable of rebuilding human civilization from genetic records and stored databases. Due to its strategic importance and potential to restore humanity, it is classified as Thaumiel. SCPs of the Apollyon class are a classification reserved for SCPs that cannot be contained under any circumstances and pose an imminent threat to the existence of humanity or the universe. An SCP of the Apollyon class is essentially an inevitable event or entity with abilities that exceed any attempts at control. An example of this would be SCP-2317-K, or the Devourer of Worlds. SCP-2317-K is an alternate dimension that contains a massive and extremely hostile entity, whose escape would result in the destruction of all known reality. Despite the Foundation's attempts to contain it, the protocols eventually fail, suggesting that the disaster is only a matter of time. The Archon class is assigned to anomalies that, while they could be contained, should preferably not be, as containment could cause more harm than good. These anomalies may be an integral part of consensual reality, making their containment difficult or inadvisable. An example of this would be SCP-3455, or Library. This anomaly manifests as a series of events that affect the perception of time and reality. SCPs of the Neutralized class are those that have been destroyed, deactivated, or have permanently lost their anomalous properties. Although an SCP has been neutralized, the Foundation continues to document it for future reference and study. An example of this would be SCP-1762, known as Here Be Dragons. It is a box that, when opened, releases a series of paper dragons that interact with the environment. After an incident, the box was neutralized and no longer exhibits anomalous activity. Since it no longer poses a danger, it was reclassified as neutralized. Despite all of the above, there are anomalies that do not reach the level of an SCP and therefore do not require strict containment. These are cataloged as anomalous objects, which are items with unusual properties but do not pose a significant threat. An example of an anomalous object could be a pen that always writes in an unknown language, or a chair that changes color when someone sits in it. The SCP Foundation operates globally with a network of highly secretive facilities designed to contain and study anomalies under controlled conditions. These facilities vary in size, location, and purpose, from small observation bases to massive underground complexes. In this video, we will explore the Foundation's infrastructure, its different types of facilities, security procedures, and special operations that allow it to maintain control of the world's most dangerous anomalies. Primary containment sites are large facilities where multiple SCPs are stored and studied. Each site is highly fortified and has advanced security measures to prevent containment breaches. These sites are designed to withstand both external and internal attacks and are staffed with specialized personnel for each type of SCP housed. An example of this would be Site-19, which is one of the largest and houses a large number of SCPs from various categories. It is the Foundation's main site and employs thousands of staff members. Another example is Site-17, specialized in humanoid or interactive SCPs. It has reinforced cells with security measures to prevent the mental manipulation of its staff. Unlike primary containment sites, research sites focus on studying and experimenting with anomalies. In these facilities, scientific tests are conducted under strict protocols to avoid incidents. Some SCPs require detailed study before establishing definitive containment protocols, and this is where the Foundation scientists do their work. An example would be Site-45, specialized in the research of SCPs with extradimensional properties and phenomena related to altered reality. Some anomalies require specialized containment areas with unique containment measures due to their unusual nature. These facilities may be located in extreme places, such as the ocean floor, Earth's orbit, or areas with difficult access. An example of this would be Area 14, dedicated exclusively to the containment of SCP-682, the hard-to-destroy reptile. Its structure is designed to withstand any attempt of escape by the SCP. Meanwhile, some SCPs cannot be contained in a single site, so the Foundation has developed mobile containment units. These facilities are usually housed in high-security vehicles, modified aircraft, or even satellites in the case of phenomena related to outer space. An example would be Mobile Task Force Sigma 66 or 16 tons, an operational force of the SCP Foundation composed of prisoners from various interest groups, such as the Chaos Insurgency, the Serpent's Hand, and others. To maintain secrecy about the Foundation's existence and its anomalies, there are facilities specialized in information manipulation and damage control in anomalous events. These facilities work in conjunction with governments and intelligence agencies to cover up SCP incidents that might attract public attention. An example of this would be Site-03, located in a highly populated city, which is in charge of disinformation and monitoring reports of paranormal activities. Each Foundation facility operates under strict security protocols to prevent containment breaches and minimize the risk of SCPs being exposed to the outside world. Each SCP has specific containment procedures based on its nature and classification, including reinforced isolation chambers made from materials such as steel, lead, and exotic alloys, automated emergency systems in case of a breach, and restricted access control limited to authorized personnel. In the event of a containment breach, emergency protocols are activated, such as Level 1, which is rapid containment by the internal security team, Level 2, which consists of partial evacuation and activation of suppression systems, and Level 3, a total evacuation, activation of specialized forces, and possible site destruction. If an SCP escapes or causes anomalous effects in society, the Foundation uses cover-up tactics, such as spreading false information in the media, elimination of evidence and witnesses using Class A amnestics, and manipulation of government and scientific records. To handle active threats and anomalies in the field, the Foundation has highly trained response teams. Each facility has its own specialized security personnel for containing dangerous SCPs. These guards receive training in tactical combat, handling hostile SCPs, and using advanced technology. Mobile task forces are specialized teams in the capture and containment of SCPs in the outside world. An example of this would be MTF Alpha 9, or Last Hope, a mobile detachment explicitly intended to train and utilize humanoid SCPs in the field. Despite its strict protocols, the Foundation has faced catastrophic containment breaches. An example of this would be the Omega-7 event, which refers to the dissolution of Mobile Task Force Omega-7, also known as Pandora's Box, a special unit of the SCP Foundation that used humanoid anomalies in its operations. The dissolution of Omega-7 occurred due to a catastrophic incident in which SCP-076-2 went out of control, resulting in the nuclear destruction of entire facilities and the release of numerous potentially apocalyptic anomalies. The SCP Foundation follows a highly centralized command system to prevent information leaks and ensure the effectiveness of its operations. The O5 Council is the highest authority group within the Foundation. It is composed of 13 individuals known as the Overseers, who have absolute access to all the Foundation's information and operations. The members of the O5 Council work in absolute anonymity. Not even high-level staff know their true identities. Each O5 is responsible for a particular aspect of the Foundation, and their decisions directly affect the fate of humanity. Among its functions are approving or rejecting dangerous experiments with SCPs, coordinating global containment strategies, overseeing the creation and implementation of emergency protocols, and authorizing the use of Thaumiel-class SCPs. Some rumors suggest that the members of the O5 may not be fully human, but anomalous entities, clones, or even artificial intelligences. However, there is no confirmed evidence of this. The Administrator is an enigmatic figure within the Foundation. He is the supreme leader and founder of the organization, but his existence is a mystery even to many members of the O5. Some theories suggest that the Administrator has been with the Foundation since its creation, and that his true age is unknown. Others believe that he could be an SCP with special abilities, or even an artificial intelligence that runs the Foundation from the shadows. Among his functions are supervising the O5 Council, defining the long-term direction of the Foundation, and maintaining the balance between the Foundation and other secret organizations. Each Foundation facility is managed by a site director, who is responsible for overseeing all operations within their respective facility. Site directors have absolute authority within their area and report directly to the O5 Council. They are responsible for the containment of dangerous SCPs and the management of the personnel under their command. Among their functions are implementing specific containment measures for each SCP, approving experiments and safety protocols, supervising personnel, and coordinating with the O5 Council. The Foundation scientists are responsible for studying and experimenting with SCPs. These researchers work in specialized laboratories and follow strict protocols to avoid incidents. The scientists are divided into several specialties, including biologists, who study SCPs of organic origin, or anomalous creatures physicists, who analyze SCPs that affect the laws of physics, parapsychologists, who investigate SCPs with psychic or mental properties, and engineers, who design containment systems and security devices. Working as a researcher at the Foundation is extremely dangerous, as many experiments can result in fatal accidents. To maintain order within the facilities and respond to containment breaches, the Foundation employs a highly trained security force and tactical teams. Each facility has armed guards responsible for protecting restricted areas and containing potential internal threats. The mobile task forces are special operations teams sent to capture and contain SCPs in the outside world. Some of the most notable include MTF Tau 5, Samsara, comprised of immortal cyborg clones created from the flesh of a dead god. Tau 5 Samsara uses esoteric and experimental weaponry from the Foundation to investigate and contain thaumaturgic, magical, and psionic threats. MTF Nu 7, Hammer Down, the armed mobile task force Nu 7, is a battalion-strength force consisting of 3 elements, the size of a special operations infantry company, a company of light armored vehicles, and a tank platoon. MTF Epsilon 11, Nine-Tailed Fox, they are a special operations force deployed to Foundation sites when standard protocols fail and multiple violations are imminent. In extreme cases, the Foundation authorizes the elimination of SCPs that pose a global threat. However, many SCPs are indestructible or possess regenerative properties, making their termination nearly impossible. The SCP Foundation has developed an advanced containment infrastructure, but despite its efforts, there is always the possibility that an SCP could escape and wreak havoc on the world. The balance between control and chaos is fragile, and every day the Foundation faces new challenges to prevent the end of humanity. And well, that's all we know so far about the organization known as the SCP Foundation. To be honest, the first time I heard about SCPs was through a game a friend showed me when I was young, and honestly, at that time, I thought it was just some kind of creepypasta. I never imagined it would have such an interesting and mysterious backstory. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Did you already know about the SCP Foundation? Do you think the Foundation could actually exist, or are they just theories and the imagination of a few? And finally, if you could join the Foundation, would you abandon everyone to investigate SCPs, or would you prefer to live without knowing about their existence? Share your answers to these questions and your overall opinion about the SCP Foundation. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you liked it, share it to support the channel, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of my new videos.